time to talk about platform engineering with Aiven, made easy. My name is Olivier Hubert, since I'm French, based in Paris, and I'm Senior Partner Solution Architect at Aiven. Before that, I worked for 8 years in the finance sector and 14 years in consulting, where I was a trainer, consultant of course, but also a speaker, and I ended up being a CTO there. After 2.5 years at Aiven, I'd like to tell you a story. That's the way I joined Aiven, because I love to share my findings and I love to take complex matters and make them easy. And one of the things, I do this with many things, like electronic, for instance. I created my own computer from scratch and breadboards, and I go over conferences to talk about that and demo that. And at some point, some colleagues told me, you need to check Aiven, because it's like the cloud made easy for you. So I just tried, and the funny thing is that the technical interview was like, you need to create a data pipeline with Kafka, create some microservices, send this to Kafka, then manage the logs into an open search and the metrics to a time series database, and then have some Grafana dashboard on top of that, and also like take screenshots of everything you did and create an article about that. I said, okay, how many days do I have? It's like 3 hours. I'm like, okay, it's impossible. So that's why I tried, because that was funny. And the fact is, that's why I joined Aiven, because it worked, and I didn't know that some of the services, so I had to learn everything with the documentation and stuff. And actually, the nice thing is that this work was taken from like real life data pipelines. So that's sort of what you have right there. Some open source services you love, you know. Kafka, maybe there's some change data capture right there for real-time analytics. You push this to BigQuery. Maybe there's some Flink involved with some PostgreSQL. Of course, you've heard about GenAI, right? Vector database. Well, we have this, and certainly some caching with some Redis or Valky between your app and your Postgres. That's some real life scenarios, and that's where Aiven comes in. You have the open source services you love, but fully managed for you on Aiven, one pane of glass. The thing is that for the cost, that's the interesting part, and that's why our customers love that, is that you know how much you're going to pay at the end of the month, because we take on ourselves network costs, backups, so we know how much your Kafka is going to cost. And that's huge. Actually, the funny thing about that is that when I go to meetups, some developers come to me and say, okay, usually for Kafka, of course, we go to Confluent, and then because of the price, because of some like other reasons, then we come to you. So, well, that was nice. So yes, you guessed it, Kafka is one of our big best sellers. So Kafka, and there's a new kid in the block. There's LogDB only. So you might say, well, LogDB is already on Google, so why Aiven? Well, the thing is that we're multi-cloud, so it means that now some customers want a LogDB, but they want it on Microsoft, like you're stuck on Microsoft, for instance, or Amazon, whatever. That just works on Aiven. Now we're the only one that can do that. You have a LogDB on the cloud that you want for Aiven, fully managed. So if you have some on-prem LogDB only, well, try Aiven. And of course, there's the security compliance thing, and many other like connectors. I won't go into details. And we also have a Postgres and OpenSearch. Yes, those are our big best sellers. So how do we integrate with Google? Well, no surprise there. BigQuery is one big connector we use. So Kafka to BigQuery is a big one. Cloud storage too, and many others. You've got PubSub, Cloud Login, and we are in the marketplace. But that's not why I'm here today. I'm here today because we want to talk about Kubernetes, right? So we said that with Aiven, you have one pane of glass for all your open source services fully managed with a predictable cost. Great. But how do you manage that? Well, one way to do it is through Kubernetes, and we've got an Aiven operator for that. And that's what I want to demo right now. So first, let's take a bigger picture. Let's look at what happens here. You have some Kubernetes cluster. You've got some gcloud container command you run there, and you want to install with Helm. So Helm install the Aiven operator that's going to connect to the Aiven API to manage the services, right? So then you just simply kubectl apply, and your Kafka, Postgres, that's going to now run on the Aiven tenant. And now you can use those services as if they were local. So your nodes in your Kubernetes cluster access those services, it's Kafka, Postgres, seamlessly. But now let me prove it to you and see how easy it is with our Aiven operator. So let's try, let's create a cluster. So gcloud container clusters, let's name it, and we're going to create a cluster right there. And we're going to check in the Aiven console that we don't have anything. We start from scratch. So here we go. Now our cluster is healthy and running. So let's check kubectl config, current context, and we got our cluster right there. Let's check the nodes. We've got 3 nodes, healthy nodes. Yep, nice. So now let's get into Aiven to check. On the Aiven side, you've got the project, okay, and under the project, you have no services. So there's nothing there, right? We start from scratch. Okay, so now we're gonna install the Aiven operator. So that's the first step. Remember what I showed just before. So install the Aiven operator right there. And then let's try to see our pods. Yep, here we got the Aiven operator. We got a pod running, perfect. So now let's create a Kafka. So we create a YAML file. Let's check the version. So the Aiven IO, perfect. And now we're gonna create a Kafka. So that's gonna be a Kafka, and we're gonna name this Aiven-Kafka. Let's see, for the spec, we're gonna pick the project we just seen before on the Aiven side. And now we're gonna put this into Google Europe West 9. And for the plan, it's Business 4. Business 4 is in between the starter plan, smaller plans, and the bigger premium plans, right? So it's like 3 nodes, okay? We'll need a token for the authentication, of course, and then the connection information will be fed back into this Aiven, Kafka auth targets. Perfect. So now let's create the token to be able to authenticate. And we're going to be done in a moment. So kubectl, create secrets, and now I'm not going to copy paste the token because that's secret, but otherwise you would copy paste the full token right there. So from token, authentication token for Aiven, perfect. And now we're done. So now we need simply to apply this Kafka YAML file, and then we're going to create a Kafka. So let's check on the Aiven side. So on the Aiven side, a Kafka should pop up. Yep, that's it. We've got a Kafka popping up right there. Here it is. And it's in creation. So there's going to be 3 nodes because we said it's business 4 plan, Kafka 3 nodes. Let's check on the Google side. Yep, we've got a rebuilding state. So there's a sync right there. Okay, so now let's wait for the Kafka service to finish running. So it's syncing. Yep, finishing syncing, and now it's going to be running state. Yep, running state. So now we've got 3 healthy nodes that are running. So let's check. So we are on the Aiven web console right there. That calls actually the REST API. We've got some information right there. So we got the connection information we'll need to be able to connect to this service, right? Really easy. And now insert setting. You've got more settings. The cloud. You can like switch cloud. You can switch